Manchester City have invested heavily in the transfer market, but have struggled this season with a lack of high-quality central defenders. While Liverpool bought Virgil van Dijk and look set to add a Premier League title to last season's Champions League, City's issues in this position have weakened them and Pep Guardiola should spend. Of course, City's current options come with some caveats. Aymeric Laporte has had significant fitness issues, especially a knee injury, since his high-profile move from Athletic Club de Bilbao. He still has the potential to be one of the best central defenders in the world, but there must be question marks over his ability to return and perform at a very high level after such a long layoff. John Stones and Nicolas Otamendi have had their own problems with form and fitness, so much so that Fernandinho, such a key player in City's system, has been forced to deputise at centre-back. This robs City of their best defensive midfielder and is unsustainable anyway. Fernandinho is 34 and was himself earmarked as needing replacement, hence Rodri's signing. Now, City will never struggle to compete in the league, but this is the area most likely to hold them back from regaining the title, assuming that Liverpool are crowned champions and fighting off other challengers. So, Manchester City need to spend money on a really good central defender, or possibly two. So, it's helpful to set some parameters for this. The player should be 28 or younger to ensure that they are at or approaching peak age. They should have played 800 minutes this season to ensure that the sample size for their metrics isn't so small as to make comparisons pointless. And they should fit a Guardiola team. Defending is key, but so is passing. So defensive duels, tackles, aerial duels and interceptions are important, but we'll also be looking at progressive passing, passes into the final third, and accuracy of passing, including long balls. City will have a sizable budget. It's reasonable to assume that they want proven quality, so we've looked at Europe and South America's top 5 leagues, in addition to the Netherlands and Portugal. An alternative and unlikely solution might be Bruno Fuchs, a 21-year-old Brazilian defender at Internacional. He's 6'3" and loves to carry the ball forwards out of defence, often beating the press. He's raw, and his one-on-one defending can be suspect, but he's a proactive defender capable of turning defence into attacking with a surging run or a long pass. No defender we looked at made more progressive passes in South America's top 5 leagues with 14.6 per 90. He also makes 10.3 final third passes at 76% accuracy, which is really good for a defender. Internacional are also coached by Eduardo Coudet, a really interesting 45-year-old manager who cites Marcelo Bielsa as an influence and is one of South America's strongest coaching prospects. Fuchs has the physical attributes and is a good passer and carrier. His defence needs work, but he's one to keep an eye on, valued at €2 million. In Europe, there are a few obvious players of interest. Jose Jimenez at Atletico Madrid and Athletic Club's Inigo Martinez are robust, high-quality stoppers who can pass. Leicester City's Caglar Soyuncu is dynamic and a good passer who's also developing his defensive game alongside Johnny Evans, one of the league's more underrated centre-backs. Newcastle United's Fabian Schär would be a great, less expensive option for almost any top-level side. Kalidou Koulibaly is one of the world's best, and Napoli could be minded to sell their prime defensive asset, but it could be a huge fee. But there are two central defenders in Europe that we feel stand out. RB Leipzig's Dayot Upamecano, who's still only 21, is one of the best defenders in the Bundesliga already. His 10.8 final third passes per 90 at 83% accuracy is the best by any of the central defenders that we looked at in Europe's top 5 leagues, while only Matthias Ginter of Borussia Mönchengladbach makes more progressive passes per 90. But Upamecano is a defensive asset too, winning just under 80% of his duels, 4th in Europe's top 5 leagues. He's also been strong in the air, and has won 65% of his aerial duels this season. A year under an astute tactician like Julian Nagelsmann would benefit any player, and Upamecano is assured and intelligent as well as possessing excellent physical attributes. In short, he could become one of the world's outstanding defenders. He's valued at €45 million and would be hard to prize away from Leipzig, but he'd improve any side. Our choice, though, is Milan Skriniar, the 6'2", 25-year-old Slovak defender at Inter Milan. His passing volume is big for a defender, with 62 passes per 90 at a really impressive 94% accuracy, which only dips to 90% when accounting just for forward passes. He's a great long passer too, with 68% accuracy for his 4.6 long passes per 90. He makes a relatively limited 7.1 final third passes per 90, but they are 85% accurate, while his 9.2 progressive passes per 90 is good, but not outstanding. Defensively, he wins a decent 55% of his duels and 62% of his aerial duels, while making 5.3 interceptions per 90 adjusted for opposition possession. But Inter's defence, of which Skriniar is the key man playing on the left side of a back three, has conceded the second lowest expected goals against in Serie A and the joint second fewest actual number of goals. They make the fifth fewest defensive duels overall, which helps contextualise Skriniar's low numbers for this. He's an elegant but assertive defender, capable of carrying the ball forwards from his position on the flank of a back three. And at 25, although he's valued at 48 million euros, he's about to enter his prime. The transformational acquisition of a centre-back can elevate a side to greater heights, giving defensive solidity and the ability to transition from defence to attack with one pass. In addition, Manchester City need options in that position in a way that they do not in others. Purchasing a player of the calibre of Milan Skriniar or Dayo Upamecano is Manchester City's best use of resources and is likely to have the greatest impact on the pitch.